Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Liners weekly series centered around key influencers and players in the performance marketing space. My name is Joey Liner, and I am your host from Liner Connections. And with me this week is a very special guest and a good friend, Adam Young. Adam, please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Adam Young, and I am the CEO and founder of Ringba.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. I mean, Ringba to me is one of the most robust. First of all, welcome. Glad to have you, man.
Thank you.
You're a really special guy, and I'm glad to have you here with me, spending time this week. Um, what I'm really excited to share with our performance marketing community, how special you are in LinkedIn or and Ringba is. So, like, tell me kind of your history and ring how you got into the performance marketing space because that kind of puts into perspective where we are today.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I initially started my first internet business when I was a teenager, and I moved out of my parents' house. And unfortunately, that business did not go well. Like, it was a giant ball of flames. I lost everything I had. I was in a ton of debt. And I moved back into my parents' basement. And I started going downtown Detroit in the snow, in freezing cold weather, selling phone service door to door, business to business through like bulletproof glass, right? Like, people at
Whoa.
our company I was working at had their like rims stolen off their car. Like, it was crazy, and it was a pretty dark time in my life. And I would get up in the morning. I'd go do this from like 6 in the morning till 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and then I'd come home and do everything I possibly could to try and make money on the internet. And one day I discovered a one field offer. And for the uninitiated, that's basically an offer where a network or an advertiser will pay you a small fee for someone entering their email address. And at the time, it was get a free um, iPod Nano if you enter your email address. And I thought this was crazy that someone would pay me $1.25 for anybody entering their email address into one of these forms. And I stayed up all night for 2 days. I didn't go into work. I said, forget this. Like, if they will pay me $1.25 for a lead, I'm done with the door to door thing. And I stayed up almost 48 hours, and I got one lead, just one. And I never thought I was going to get paid for this, but I was like, all right, if I can get one, I can get two, I can get 200,000, I can get 2.5 million people to do this. Like, this is going to be crazy. And so, my third day, I think I made like $100, and by the end of the month, I was at like 20,000, and my second month, I was at 80,000, and like, it was insanity. And I never thought I was going to get paid for any of this, but one day a cashier's check shows up in a FedEx envelope, and that one check got rid of all my debt. I paid everybody back. I paid my investors back from that business, even though I didn't have to. And I was off to the races. And I said, you know what? I'm doing this for the rest of my life. And then I moved out of my parents' basement again, of course. And I've been in the industry ever since. And I've done a lot of arbitrage, a lot of lead generation. I've worked with a lot of businesses in this space. I've built businesses in the space. And at one point, I had decided that I wanted to do something bigger, and I really wanted to affect this industry that changed my life. It truly changed my life. And so we decided to build Ringba because the call space was very messy. There wasn't a lot of innovation in the space. No one was really investing in this type of technology. And for me, it just made sense because if you buy a click and turn it into a lead, you then have to call the lead anyways. And
Yeah.
what you really want, what you truly want if you're a brand or a business, is you want a customer to call you who wants to buy your products and services right now. And so I realized that this was the direction that the industry was heading, and that we could add an extreme amount of value to our customers if we built better technology so that they could be more sophisticated in what they do. In fact, Ringba's motto, our mission, is help our customers grow their business. And that is what our
Yeah.
entire team works towards. every single day. So sorry, that was a long-winded answer to your
No,
question.
yeah, dude. Holy shit. Like, first of all, like, I always hear stories about people going door to door, but like to back it up. And like, I watch Shark Tank a lot, right? And I like see
Yeah.
Mark Cuban geek out when people tell him that, because it proves how much like you drew the line in the sand and you were like, I mean, the stereotype living in your parents' basement, right? Like you freaking got out there and made the change, right? You could have stayed there, but like you got out there and like learned how to sell and hustle and like and then you learned like lead gen at the same time and then
Well, I got to be real with
ruined
you and anyone watching
yeah.
this. The only reason I took the door-to-door job, Joey, was I had no college degree. No one
Yeah.
else would hire me. The only thing I
Okay.
could get was commission sales. And so
Well,
I
that's
just had no
good. Good for
choice.
you. You could have gave up. Like you could have gave up on
Yeah.
life, man. You could have gave up on everything. Like you good for you. I'm proud of you. It's amazing because I'm
Thank
saying I'm
you.
proud of you because I know what Ringba is today. But and we're going to talk about that. So, like, how long has Ringba been in business? Where how did you guys kind of formulate where, how many years have you been doing this?
Yeah, so we founded it in 2015 in October, and we really wanted to get our infrastructure base correct from the beginning. And I'm a developer. I've been writing software since I was a little kid, and we have an amazing engineering team. And the one thing we decided from day one is we were going to work to get that correct from the beginning. And it's much more expensive to do it that way because you have to invest in the team and the time and the infrastructure and the testing. But what that allows you to do is really scale and build a lot of stability into your system. So we really took a lot of time to design the base and the foundation of Ringba from the beginning. And so we didn't actually open it up to customers until the beginning of 2017. And so I
Right.
know that most software startups, they tell you move quickly, get an MVP out,
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
customers as soon as possible. But we were just confident in our ability to really be in it for the long haul and to fight our way to success, right? So we decided to really build it from the ground up and get that basis correct from the beginning.
That's that's so cool, man. Again, I love how you guys went about that, and how you felt like the right gradual next steps for the business. So I think most, we talked to like you said, there's so many people that know that they have to get to a call. They have to get the consumer on the line. A lot of brands and a lot of lead generators use call tracking, but like, what's the most common pitfall or mistake, or um, would you say that lead generators or brands don't maximize with call tracking today?
Great question. So for a brand specifically, a lot has changed. And the technology is very different today than it was even a year ago. And so, what most brands are not doing is they're not taking a look at the demographic information of the caller to decide if the caller is a good fit for their products and services before they buy the call. And I think that is what differentiates most businesses, big and small, in the space today. And this has changed wildly over the last year. To give you an idea, last year for open enrollment, our real-time bidding. Whoa, I lost a headphone.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
good. I
So,
love it.
my our real time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can hear
Okay.
you great.
So our real-time bidding cluster last year for open enrollment was 5 very large cloud instances. This year it was more than 250, and we were handling thousands of requests a second. And so it was a massive infrastructure project to make open enrollment this year go smoothly for us. But what that really shows is that companies are starting to pay attention to this information. They want to know if the leads they're buying or the calls, right, can even qualify for their products and services before they buy them. And the old model for this was essentially you take a bunch of calls, you sift through the calls, and you figure out if your source is good or bad, and it changes regularly. The model today is to, in real time, look at all the demographic information of a caller and decide if you even want to talk to them in the first place.
Yeah.
And some of the most incredible companies in the world are using this technology to do it. So, it's no secret that Progressive Insurance uses this technology to buy all of their inbound these days. And I think they're a fantastic test case of being able to do it. And so some of these brands are also starting to integrate their proprietary machine learning models into this
Yeah.
to effectively predict the outcome of a phone call before it happens. And that's going to be the future. The future is we can predict what's going to happen within reason on a phone call before a consumer's ever connected with an agent.
Awesome. Yeah. Stay. Uh, we're going to talk more about the future too in a little bit, but in you know in today's world, it sounds like the biggest thing is that brands or even lead generators, mainly brands though that you're just talking, are decisioning in real time based on demographical data or is this going to be an ideal customer? They're able to act on that immediately. And that's a huge, like you said, over the last couple of years, we've kind of morphed into that because, a couple of years ago, that wasn't even possible. Um, every getting call tracking was used for like billable durations and stuff like that, and
Sure.
recordings and routing. But like, what are some general coaching tips that you can provide to some folks out there that can enhance their experience with Ringba or a platform like Ringba?
Sure. So I think the brands are either going to do this or they're not, and the ones that don't are going to have a lot of problems. And so I think you'll see an evolution of all major brands adopt this type of technology um, over time. And we've seen this statistically, right? Like the data proves it. And the people who use this type of technology, real time bidding, they're just way ahead of the pack. And so everyone's going to catch up. I think where the disconnect happens is on the publisher side or the generator side, the people actually generating the phone call. I think they don't fully understand how this technology works. And there's a lot of publishers that are coming into the call space that are thinking about it like a traditional CPA offer. So they're like, if someone calls, I get a dollar amount and that's the end of it. But that's not the case at all. Call sellers today can use this same information to get more money for their phone calls by looking at the demographic information of the caller and then selling it to a brand based on that information. Like in health insurance, for instance, brands will pay more money if they know for a fact that a caller is 65 years old versus 68 years old. Or people in credit repair or debt consolidation, for instance, which is starting to boom right now, they're going to pay more for a middle class caller that has a lot of debt that they know are going
Right.
to eventually repay it. And so understanding someone's home value or what kind of car they drive, or even something as simple as I use Verizon and someone else may use Boost Mobile. That tells you a lot about the caller. And so sellers of phone calls and lead generators that are looking at this data and routing phone calls by this data have a huge advantage over everybody else. And the cool thing about this, though, is a single affiliate in their parents' basement, like I used to be, can
Yeah.
leverage this technology today. It's available to all people, regardless of the scale of their business. And so we even don't gatekeep it. Like you don't have to sign an enterprise contract to get this type of technology with Ringbo. It's available to all publishers. And so the difference in success that we see for the dollar volumes of a publisher as their business scales is how they're actually leveraging technology in their stack. And so that becomes proprietary to them. It's no longer a publisher just simply runs traffic to a lander. It's now the publisher runs traffic to a lander and then uses technology to yield optimize what they're doing. And those are the people that are building really serious businesses for themselves. Like this is no joke. Like we have small teams of people that use Ringba that are doing tens of millions of dollars a year in revenue. And they've been in the business for a very short period of time. They've just really taken the time to understand what moves the needle for everybody and then to build their own process around it.
You seem to be like a big, well, I know you pretty well, but you have a wealth of knowledge, obviously, within this, this medium, and like you throw out the term masterclass a lot. Like, obviously, there's masterclass all
Yeah.
throughout. Why is educating important to you? Like, you take a nice consultative style and you present really well. Why is that? How did you get into that, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, when you're going door to door in the snow and you discover an account rep at an affiliate network who's willing to talk to you when you're a teenager and you're in your parents' basement. And like there was there like I told my account manager, it was Rocket Profit at the time when I started, right? I told him, I was like, listen, I'm just a kid in my parents' basement. I don't know what's going on. And these people took the time to educate me. And then they're like, you should go to a trade show. And so I went to Affiliate Summit. I think this year it'll be my 20th year at Affiliates, like crazy. And
Yeah.
people at Affiliate Summit were willing to educate me and they taught me the business. And I made a lot of friends, and people were very generous with their time. They showed me what to do. And they got nothing in return for this. Like they were just like, hey, you seem really motivated. I'd be happy to help you. And when we founded Ringba, I just knew that I really wanted to pay it forward and provide the same value to other people, that people were generous with their time with me. And so we did. We put out the master class a few years ago. It's had almost 35,000 registrations. It's absolutely free.
Wow.
And we have tracked over $250 million in revenue that was generated off of me giving away this class. Um, and
Holy
it's
shit.
crazy to me. I know. I literally will show up at trade shows, and in the class, I tell people, listen, if you're new, show up at a trade show in a suit. And I literally will get stopped by these young kids in full suits, and I'm not wearing a suit, right? And they're like, hey, you're Adam. I wore the suit, man. I'm here. What do I do? I got
Dude.
stopped on the street in New York last time I was in Times Square, and someone was like,
Yeah.
hey, oh my God, I took your class. Just this last weekend, I was in LA at an event, and a 22-year-old kid came up to me and was like, bro, I watched your class and I got involved in pay-per-call, and I'm going to do almost $1 million in revenue this year. And so
Wow.
it's just the 250 million is what we know for sure. We've tracked. It's more than this. And
Yeah.
um, that blew my mind. It's one of the most proud things I've ever done in my entire life, is actually just teach a bunch of people I've never met how to build a business for themselves. And it goes with our mission. And it's really helped grow the pay-per-call space. Like there's way more people than even 3 years ago participating in it today. It's just, yeah, it's crazy.
You should be proud. It's a major accomplishment. And I also love I subscribe to the goes around, comes around. I think paying it forward is
Yeah.
great. It makes a big difference in how we impact, the next generation that is looking for mentorship or leadership, and to get guidance and how to advance, just like you did, just like you picked up from people that gave you advice and got you out of the basement. Speaking about paying it forward, there's a big women's um, you know, event that's going on right now within performance marketing called Unite. Our good
Yep.
friends Amanda and Sarah out there. I know you've been really active recently with your team in looking at how to help support women and minorities within our space. Talk about that a little bit. Obviously, some of that's within your environment, of probably what you see in Detroit too, like around your surroundings, but within performance marketing, like, yeah, it's so important. But I want to hear from you too. Why it's important to you?
Yeah. So, I I was bullied a lot when I grew up, like in an incredibly powerful way, and it sucked, and it was really tough for me. And so when
Yeah.
I founded Ringba, and even throughout the rest of my career, I have always just looked at it like I want to find amazing people. I don't care who they are. I don't care where they are. I don't care what they look like. Um, all I care about is that I find amazing people that I want to work with, and that we have an awesome environment to do that in. And so Ringba is a non-political organization. We don't engage in any of that. We just simply
Yep.
build great technology and focus on our customers. And we just hire the most amazing people we possibly can. And it wasn't until someone on our team pointed it out to me, but like our team is over 50% diverse. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
And you compare that to other tech companies, and it's just like an astronomical difference. And we didn't even realize this was happening. We just created this environment where we just love the people we work with, and we seek out the best talent possible. I want to be clear about this. We don't hire because we just simply hire the best talent we possibly can. And it turns out to be the most diverse tech company in performance marketing. It's funny how that works, right? Like if you just look for the best
Yeah,
talent, you end up having the most diverse organization. This is something I'm very proud of because our
that's
people are
awesome.
exceptional. And we set the bar that high. Like we only allow exceptional people to stay at our organization because we want people to thrive and be happy. And you're right, Sarah and Amanda are awesome. We're big supporters of Link Unite. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to go, but that's fine. Like I know what's going on right now.
Yes.
But related to that, I'm hosting the CEO only dinner at Lead Generation World. It's my turn to pick up the check, and one of the things I noticed going to these events over the last year plus, was that I've only seen two women at these dinners. And I immediately, when I was asked to host this, I immediately said, you know what, that's not okay. We're not going to keep doing that. Like, I couldn't legitimately call myself good friends with Sarah and Amanda and support Link Unite if I didn't do something
Yeah.
about this status quo. And so we're hosting a CEO only dinner at Lead Generation World, and it's 50-50 attended by men and women. And a bunch of people asked me how I was going to find 50% women to come to the dinner. And I just
Right.
laughed. I was like, well, I'm just going to hit up a bunch of women who are CEOs. There are a ton of them in this space.
Yeah,
I think people are even blind to this, right? Like, to
they
get these
are.
comments. Um, and
They
so,
are.
like, I'm super excited about this. Some of my top people at Ringba are women. We have amazing female project managers. We have amazing female infrastructure team members. Jenny Parrish is one of our executives. She's been in the industry for over 15 years. She's a boss, right? Like I learn things
Yeah.
from her all the time. And so I just think it's incredibly important if we're in leadership roles that when we see the opportunity to do something that's better and change the status quo, we do it. And sorry to all the dudes out there who I was supposed to invite to this event. Like I'm supposed to invite all the other hosts from way back then. Like, sorry, I had to break the rules. But I think that every CEO following my host of the CEO dinner should take this leadership cue and put the
Yeah.
effort in to involve the amazing women in our industry in these types of events.
I don't think anybody's going to argue what you just said. Like, as far as nobody, no former host is going to get mad at you for, doing something. Look, I think putting it all out there like you have, and being fully transparent on how you manage and run Ringba, but then also taking that into account, like just realistically how it's conveyed to the community, and there's be the change you wish to see in this world, like for you to put change that, how that dinner's going down. I think that's awesome. That's super special, and I hope people follow and respect that. So um as we kind of close out here, man, we talked about the future. So shifting gears back to Ringba for a second and call tracking,
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about the future, but like, give us a little bit about what you got. I mean, maybe a little teaser. What are you guys working on that's going to change the game? I would love for us to hear more about that.
Yeah. So currently in beta, being tested by some of our very smart customers right now, is our visual call flow builder. And that is mostly a user experience change, but it makes building a really complex call flow with all the data integrations and all the bells and whistles that people need super fast and super easy. And so it will give our customers back their time, which is their most valuable asset. It will reduce the
Amen.
time it takes to set up a highly complex campaign with a bunch of integrations by like 80 or 90%, which to me is a really big deal. And then also what we're testing right now, which is phenomenal. I mean, the results have been nothing short of spectacular, is our new predictive routing product, which will essentially predict which caller will convert the best at different buyers. And this happens based on all sorts of criteria that we're looking at on the caller. But our clients that have implemented this have increased their revenue per call at a minimum of 11%, but all the way up to almost 200%. And so tens of millions of dollars worth of phone calls have been tested using our predictive routing. And millions of dollars of additional value was created. And this is better for the consumer too, because if you know that a consumer from Poughkeepsie that is in a certain demographic group is going to convert better at a call center at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, they should talk to that call center because they're more likely to have a better consumer experience as well. So not only does it improve it for our customers, it improves it for the consumers that call. And so we're very excited about this product. We'll be rolling it out to more customers here very shortly. And then in the next few weeks, it'll likely go to a very wide audience. But, you know, at the scale our platform runs, I have a feeling that this product will create billions of dollars in additional value over time.
That's awesome. Giving back to the industry, because look, we need to continue to enhance how we conduct business, better consumer experience, better for our clients, and just more effective, and efficient way to take calls, because calls are one of the largest traffic channels. I think it is, if not the largest traffic channel. So, where can obviously we're coming up to the holidays, but then next year, kicking off the year, you mentioned Affiliate Summit. There's a lot, and Lead Generation World. There's a lot of shows. So I think if I'm interested in learning more about Ringba, I'm gonna meet with you and the team and see you guys put out more information about the business and some of these products and stuff. But what's a good way for people to get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, they can always just email me, which is adam@ringba.com. I'm pretty easy to find.
There we
But
go.
I think the most valuable thing to a listener that they can do is to come to trade shows and actually interact in person with me. I'm at all of them, or our staff. But in general, right? Like whether you do business with
Yes.
Ringba or not, or you're even running calls, you should come talk to us. You should come to these events. You should meet people in the industry. That's really where my breakthrough happened, and it solidified my success over the last 20, God, I don't know, maybe even 24 years. We're getting old, man.
Yes.
Is going to the trade shows. And so I
Yes.
think the investment in trade shows for me has been the most positive return on investment of anything I've ever done.
Amen. It's got to get out there post pandemic. Get out there, meet with everybody, and even if they're not working with you, that you'll accept their feedback and learn from. We all learn from interactions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you after the holidays out in Lead Generation World. You're an awesome guest, a good friend. Glad you could drop some knowledge on everybody. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Of course.